Hey guys and gals, thanks for watching this Let's Play of the Final Fantasy Legend. We're going to try something a little bit different for the end of the playthrough this time. Now, I'm aware that I will often ramble on and get distracted so that I don't always portray a complete picture of how I really feel for a game. It's easy to say that I like or dislike a game overall, but often it's a lot more complicated than that. Sometimes there's things you like about a game and sometimes there's things you don't like. That's what this is going to be. This is going to be me getting deeper into my thoughts about a game, specifically the Final Fantasy Legend. Now, I don't think I'll go back and do this for games I've already done, but we'll see. I might do this for future games though, if I like how this one turns out. No promises on either statement though. Now that the intro's out of the way, let's get started. I'm going to do this in two major sections: story / graphics and gameplay. I lump story and graphics together because graphics are a medium to portray story. So, let's start with story / graphics. First of all though, spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the Let's Play or played it yourself, go take care of that before you continue on this. Second, this is all my opinion. You have every right to disagree with me and call me stupid. Not to my face, that would hurt my feelings. But you can, behind my back, whatever. That doesn't bother me. So the basic premise of the story is that you're a self-named hero, with a 4-character limit to your name no less, who lives in a world where a large tower dominates the skyline. This tower is said to lead to paradise. So, you decide to climb this tower. Basically for the hell of it. Along the way, things happen, you meet lots of interesting people, see lots of interesting places, and you end up making all the world's and people's lives better, culminating in a fight with God. An awesome overall story, if you ask me. Lots of unique locations, semi-interesting, if a bit vague, NPCs, and they get bonus points for sneaking in a fight with God as the final boss. Remember, this is 1989 this game was released in, so yeah. I do have a few gripes, though, such as them leaving out many details. So many details, in fact, that many things just become nonsensical to me. For example, in the power plant, in World 4, why did that guy run into those power plant rods and kill himself? I'm pretty sure we could have found another way. Sure, he gives you the best helmet in the game, but why did he do it? It's a culminating thing that starts in World 1, gets worse as the game goes on, and just reaches the climax in the reactor in World 4, where your motorcycle buddy just suicide runs into those reactor rods. Of course, this vagueness is something that plagues a lot of older, not just JRPGs, but RPGs in general, so it really can't be pinned on this game alone as one of its major flaws. And honestly, all it really takes is a bit of reading between the lines and some imagination to fill in the blanks. So all in all, a gripe, but not game-ruining for me. The characterization, while slim, is there if you look for it, which honestly surprised me when I played through the game. I didn't remember any of this. Everyone in your party speaks at some point, and they all seem to have a tad bit of personality. Sure, they aren't tragic heroes with tragic pasts, who end up, resolving their deep-seated emotional turmoil. I mean, hell, we picked them up at a guild for Christ's sake. But it is a nice touch that they do talk, and I don't think you can ask for more considering the time period the game was released in. The graphics are perfectly serviceable and certainly functional for the story, and they aren't too terrible to look at. Definitely comparable to something you would find on the NES, minus the color. My one gripe is that I wish there were more monster sprites, but I don't know what kind of limitations they were working with, so I'll let it slide. On to the gameplay. The whole game is fairly straightforward, and not complicated at all. Controls: directions move, A is confirm, B is cancel, select allows you to change party order, and start brings up your menu. Battle mechanics: you take weapon / skill and then apply prodigiously to enemy to make them dead. Heal when needed. Like I said, not much there, pure and simple, and there's definitely something positive to be said for that, especially in today's world. The difficulty of the game, for an average player who has never beaten the game before, I think comes from not knowing lots of the little nuances and a lack of understanding on how the level up system works. It's nothing insurmountable or mind-melting, but that right kind of difficulty you don't find as often anymore. On the subject of character growth is where the gameplay mechanics themselves really shine. Each class levels up differently and uniquely, even compared to other RPGs, which is where this game's surprising replay value comes from. The level up system may confuse the uninitiated, since nobody in your party levels up traditionally, but it's not a huge hurdle to learn, and I personally prefer the mutant's way of leveling to the traditional, you get XP at the end, you get X number of XP at the battle, and now you're more stronger, that you would find in almost every other RPG known to man. I do have gripes with the way stats can roll over back to 1, and then it's not inherently clear that you can go past the graphical limits of 999 HP and 99 of a stat, but that's most likely a bug, so I'll let that slide. Not to mention the comparative weakness of monsters when you put them up against mutants and humans. They just suck. The weapon/skill/monster system is so great in this game, but it is irritating as hell to me because, God, I hate games where you have limited use weapons. That aside, though, the just myriad and sheer number of available weapons and variety, the sheer scope of them can be staggering. You have rocks, bows, swords, bazookas, nukes, magic, monster bits, and just so many other exotic things with which to inflict pain and hurt, and not to mention the neat martial arts skill weapon mechanic that's great for saving up a large hit in reserve for a boss, even though I didn't really take advantage of that. My two biggest complaints with the combat are the lack of transparency in weapon power and the way mutants get their skills. The only indication that one weapon is more powerful than another is price, and even then you don't know for sure. Not to mention the utter lack of way to view extra effects on armor and weapons. Which weapons are agility weapons, which weapons are strength weapons. I mean, it's just frustrating. And the fact that a mutant might change abilities 4 times in 4 battles with no way to earmark at least one of those abilities to make it stay there permanently is frustrating to say the least. Anyway, replayability, I think, is definitely a place where this game gets A marks. Trying party combinations to see if you can beat the game with it is just lots of fun. I've beaten the game 4 or 5 times since I've finished this Let's Play just to see if I could beat the game with all monsters, solo character, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's something to do when you get bored because the game isn't long. You could sit there and beat the game in maybe 4 hours. I mean, that's an afternoon. Even less if you have a fast forward function and abuse it like I tend to. Well, that's pretty much all the extra thoughts I have to say about this game, and like I said, that's all I have to say about that.